Hello and welcome to the Sunday Guardian. This is Preeti Dalal, and today we are going to talk about the first ever elections taking place in Jammu and Kashmir after the abolition of highly controversial Article 370. Taking place after 10 long years, these elections are being closely observed by the entire world. For those of you who are not aware, more than 2.5 million voters will decide the fate of 239 candidates in the second phase. The first phase took place on September 18, the second is happening as we speak, and the third phase will occur on October 1st, with the results to be announced on October 8. In the second phase, one of the key faces is former Chief Minister Umar Abdullah, who is contesting from two seats, Ganderbal and Budgam. The people of Jammu and Kashmir have a list of issues they want to see addressed. For more on this, we have a very senior journalist, Pankaj Vohra, who is also serving as the managing editor of the Sunday Guardian. Welcome to the show, Mr. Vohra. Without wasting another second, I'll start from the questions. While it's widely said that these assembly elections focus on local issues such as development, employment, and infrastructure, we know that areas such as Riyasi, Rajouri, and Punch, which are voting today, have witnessed terror attacks in the past year, even though they're the part of Jammu, which was seen as an area with less terror attacks than Kashmir. On this backdrop, how do you think that security, which is a national issue, is taken by the voters? How do you think it will influence the voter sentiment in Kashmir?
Well, Kashmir is Jammu and Kashmir are very complex regions which have been in turmoil for a very long time. Since the first elections were held in 1951 till the present day, there is general perception that there was only one fair election, that was in 1977. Otherwise, every election which ever is held and whoever emerges as the victor, the allegation remains that majority had boycotted it and elections were rigged and there was some wrongdoing. But in this election, there is a very evident change, which is that there has been, at least if you go by the first phase, a very large participation of people who have come out and voted. It implies that the elections here are people oriented and people are wanting to have a say in whatever happens on the final day, on the 8th October, when the result comes out, and therefore are turning up in huge numbers. And you mentioned that there's militancy. Yes, there is militancy. Militancy has been there in Kashmir for many years now, and it originally was mostly in North Kashmir, and but of late it is in South Kashmir, which is near the Pir Panjal range, and obviously it is inspired by our honorable neighbors who keep on sending arms, equipment, and other logistic support to the militants who are on this side of our country.
Yes.
And that is how. But people are turning up, and this is going to be a very decisive and a very interesting election.
Yes, I mean, there's more than 61% of voting in the first phase. So that's a good news. That's a good news coming from Jammu and Kashmir. So my next question is that BJP claims that the government has eliminated terrorism, right? But the recent attacks in Riyasi and Punch area and the Jammu area specifically, it is known that Kashmir is much safer now. And Jammu, the attacks are coming towards Jammu. The terrorism is spreading towards Jammu. So even a safer place has become prone to terrorism now. How do you think that voters, even if it's a national issue, even if it's not a very local issue which is to be catered during the assembly elections, how do you think that such terrorism, the spread of terrorism, will is it gonna impact voters or not?
You see, militancy is very difficult to eliminate, especially in an area where there's a counter view which says that Kashmir is a disputed territory. While Kashmir is an integral part of India, we all know that. But there are those who dispute this claim, and are inspired by uh, support from over our neighboring country, and continue to create some sort of a trouble or not. To say that it is completely safe, is something which the government there and the administration there would be able to state better. But there are problems which still exist, and recent militant attacks, especially in southern part of Kashmir, have indicated that a lot of weapons which were there, or a lot of things which the Americans surrendered when they left Afghanistan, and were like night vision weapons and night vision gadgets and very sophisticated communication equipment, etc., are all there, which militants get to use. And Pir Panjal range, has very thick forests, and it is near Jammu on one side and Kashmir on the other, and these places, the uncertainty of the region and of the geographical things are making things difficult for our security forces. But our security forces are doing extremely well, and they are engaging militants and eliminating them. But the fresh round of militants who have come into Kashmir and into Jammu region seem to be better trained than what they were. That indicates that Pakistan has put in a lot of effort in sending people who are highly equipped with to deal with sophisticated weapons. So this is a challenge, and it can be overcome by our security forces.
Okay, so the next question is that the Indian government, the Ministry of External Affairs, has invited delegations from over 15 countries to to witness the elections, to witness the polling happening in Jammu and Kashmir in the second phase. The former Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Umar Abdullah, has literally targeted the government, that the government is not even allowing journalists from foreign countries to witness the election, to cover the election, but is inviting delegations. And he has said that this is sort of contradictory to the government. How do you see this? And it is a question that why the government is not allowing journalists and inviting delegations.
Well, I don't know the exact details of what is happening there, but whatever I have heard or whatever you are saying indicates, in every election which is held in Kashmir, there are charges of rigging and unfair, practices. So if foreign delegations go and see for themselves that things, are not as they are projected to be by our enemy country or by forces which are, not wanting elections to be held peacefully in our country, it will, add to the credibility. Now, in this particular election, Umar Abdullah may have any view. He has also stated that Congress should concentrate on the Jammu region and leave Kashmir to the National Conference to deal. But there are other very complex political issues. There's X factor of Rashid engineer, which is very much there, and especially in North Kashmir and in Central Kashmir. And there's also this existential crisis which the PDP is facing, with large number of people having moved out, and PDP's basic presence used to be Southern Kashmir. So these things are there, but at the end of the day, the government would also want that there should be no fingers raised on the credibility of the elections. And if foreign delegations come and they see for themselves that there is no coercion or no kind of forced activity to bring people out there, they would be able to form their own opinions, and the democratic process is on, and it is going to be a very, very close election. Very senior journalist Syed Malik, who is an authority on Kashmir, who has seen everything from the first election till this election, has recently stated that it is the most congested election. He has used the word congested. There is so much of participation. Then the question of some people who had earlier shied away from elections. Jamaat-e-Islami is very much there. The charge of National Conference is that Jamaat-e-Islami is being propped up by the BJP. The BJP is also, expected to do well in the Jammu region. Now, all these things are there. Lot of issues have got raised, but we have to wait for the outcome, and we will know. But it is going to be a very, very interesting election. It is going to be a very historic election, and it is going to be an election where I think there's been the largest participation of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. And there are, in the backdrop, there are questions like abrogation of 370, which is of course unlikely to be ever, restored. There are questions of, militancy. There are questions of unemployment. There are questions of the statehood being taken away from the state. They, people want restoration of the status. They don't want union territories. And all these things are there. And it is going to be a very historic election, as I stated earlier. And it is going to be watched very, very carefully by not only people in India, but by the international community also.
Yes. So my last question is that what are the major changes that that you think coming if BJP wins, and what are the major changes that you think will come if the India Alliance wins the election?
Look, I don't know. The thing is that BJP has no presence so far as the Kashmir Valley and Kashmir region is concerned.
Yes.
It has basically a presence in Jammu region, where it is expected to do well. The thing is that what is happening right now is there seems to be a division in the kind of campaign and voting. So in Jammu as well as in Kashmir, the Congress is the link between both Jammu and Kashmir. It is contesting in Jammu. It is also contesting along with National Conference in the Kashmir Valley, though its presence is not as much as it used to be earlier. So these are, and then this presence of Engineer Rashid, he being supported by Jamaat-e-Islami, and there are other factors. Engineer Rashid, people are saying that what was the need for him to be released now on bail when he contested his Lok Sabha election from behind bars, and what people are saying that the other counter view is that he has been in jail for so many years, and he has a connect with people of the region and is emerging as a factor. So he had defeated Umar Abdullah and Sajjad Loon in parliamentary elections. So as I said, that he's an X factor, and so is there's the existential crisis for the country. So we have to see all these things into account, and everything will be clear. We will have greater clarity when the outcome is declared, comes out on the 8th of October.
Yes, of course. I mean, Rashid Engineer is one of the most followed politicians in Kashmir, and his base is quite a large that even National Conference is somewhat afraid of, might be. Thank you for joining and giving your precious time. We will have to wait and see how the people of Jammu and Kashmir react to the elections after 10 years, and whom do they choose as their government. Keep watching Sunday Guardian for more on this and other news.